Let's begin. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 76 of Podcast 76.
Whoop, whoop.
I'm Ruskeydoo.
I'm Grey.
There were so many things we could have done for episode 76, and so many things we have not done. This is entirely a normal show.
Yes, we've done nothing.
But I'm going to throw out there things like special numbers and anniversaries, even birthdays. I'm really not into birthdays.
Oh, I'm not into birthdays either.
It's just so arbitrary.
Yes.
Like it's an amount of time has passed. I mean, great.
It's really a measure of distance when you think about it, birthdays.
Oh, what, due to the Earth moving around the sun?
That's all you're really measuring.
Yeah, and, right, I have a problem with years as like a unit of measurement of time anyway.
Okay.
Because it's proper fucking bumpkin. Like, okay, let me explain. There's an entire fucking universe out there, right? And there's probably other, intelligent beings out there. And the universe is big. I mean, really big. Like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy big. And here's the thing. Us denoting time by how many times our little planet passes around our little sun is a bit like some guy just being like, well, yeah, we measure distances by the distance from the farmhouse to the big tree because that's all we know. And you see what I'm saying? It's like really like...
Hang on. But you need some sort of measuring stick.
Yeah,
you need some way to do it.
Yeah.
So, like, it's all, no matter what you measure it by, it's
Half-life
arbitrary.
of elements. That's universal. You can find some universal shit to like actually get some time measurements of. And sure, we'll have to like do the half-lives and like multiply them by whatever, but at least then it'd be like a universal unit as opposed to like just this really niche thing. It's like if I'm like, oh no, I don't recognize your years. I only measure time by how long it takes me to walk to the kitchen to make a coffee. It's like, oh come on. It's just so, you see what I'm saying?
I totally see what you're saying. However, it's something that's shared by the entirety of humanity, and so much of what we do is through shared interaction that it makes a lot of sense for us on this planet.
Don't get me wrong, like with like shit being light and then dark, it's important to know that time scale, right? And like months, years, like I get it. Living on Earth is really important to us, but to like then have like all these birthdays and it being such a big thing, and it's like, it's not, is it? Come on.
Yeah. I just love your rant. It
really, it bugs me. It shouldn't bug me. I realise. I imagine everyone listening is like, Jesus, really? What's your problem? Just, you're an idiot.
It is also wonderfully arbitrary, but I think you just have to embrace the arbitrariness.
Yeah, entirely. But, no, it's right. Birthdays, there's too much pressure to have fun. It's like New Year's Eve. Oh, God, we're going on another rant here. It's amateurs night. Like, it's people who don't go out and party, determined to go out and party and have the most fun ever, and it's just painful.
Not if you don't try to be one of those people.
Well, exactly. But then, just all of it. Anyway, what the hell are we talking about? This isn't Overwatch. Let's talk about Overwatch.
Go for it.
Okay, things that have happened. There has been a PTR update with lots of goodness inside. There is new cosmetics happening for all heroes, but not just yet. Overwatch development panels have lots of juicy arts and kind of shots of Overwatch being made. That's all from BlizzCon. Someone wins the Overwatch World Cup. Obviously, there is a serious section. Jeff Kaplan on Ray's and Morrison's relationship, and there is a boatload of other stuff that we've just bumped into one big mush because we don't want to... Well, I mean, we'll spend as long talking about it as we can at the end of the show, but yeah, who knows?
Yeah, it's stuff that we don't particularly feel necessarily needs its own entire section each, because it's just got unwieldy.
It's not like super relevant to everyone's Overwatch experience. It's kind of like the serious stuff section, but we didn't want to just lump the serious stuff in with the lots of other stuff, because the serious stuff is actually a little bit serious.
A really quick word on the serious section. The serious section is stuff that we think is serious news, but at the same time, there is not loads for us to add as commentary that isn't already out there.
Yeah, exactly.
And so if it seems like we're brief with it, it is because it has been so discussed that adding our own...
Right, without actually going into this section, we are vague booking so hard right now.
Yeah.
So let's save it till we actually get to it.
Let's go.
Okay, the PTR update.
Yes.
What is the most exciting thing in the PTR update?
It's got to be Moira.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, naturally. I did mention the whole Moira being Irish thing and how, like, I was not particularly sold on it.
Yeah.
And I've actually been through the PTR stuff and I've looked through all her voice lines. I've had a proper listen to her. Because in-game, I just couldn't tell. But when you listen to her voice lines, the selectable voice lines, which you can kind of set as actions,
yeah,
she is Irish. She's definitely Irish. She's just not, "Hoody-toody-do, I'm classic Irish," you know?
Oh, Bigora. Let me see my
Exactly.
Lucky Charms.
But she's
racist. Yeah.
No, but she's got a different type of Irish accent, which people aren't as used to hearing. It just comes from a slightly different part of Ireland.
Here's my question. Is it like a genuine like accent from a bit of Ireland, or is it just like Trace's accent, which is like some made-up caricature of Irish? Well, that's made-up caricature of English.
No, it's the other way. It's not doing the stereotypical one. It's taking a slightly more obscure Irish accent.
Right. But is that just because the voice actor might be a bit shit at doing an Irish accent?
No, they're Irish.
They're actually Irish?
They're actually Irish.
Okay, good. I wonder where it's from then. It's probably from a particular place.
I think they said it was slightly south of Dublin.
Okay. Because, I don't know that area. Most of my family is from the southwest of Ireland, so...
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, if you listen through her voice lines, you actually can hear the Irish accent come out. It's just not the Irish accent that you might be used to.
Yeah. And the ult being in Gaelic, if you're on
Gaelic.
the other team.
Is it Gaelic? I thought it was Gaelic.
I thought it was Gaelic. I may be wrong. Sounds a bit like garlic.
I was going to say.
I thought Gaelic was how, like, Ali G pronounced it when he was trying to be a bit smutty. Maybe it is Gaelic.
I'm questioning everything now. I think I may have only ever seen it written down and decided that was how it's pronounced and never actually heard.
Is Gaelic that big a thing in Ireland?
It's still taught in schools.
Yeah, because, like...
And it's a bit like Welsh in Wales. Everything must be also available in Welsh, like all the emergency services and all the BBC stuff.
But they don't have like all the street signs doubled up in Irish, or do they? I'm trying to remember now. It's been a couple of years since I drove around Ireland.
But they still teach Gaelic at the same time. Gaelic?
Whatever, pick one.
Well, anyway, they teach it alongside English at the same time.
But here's the thing. It seems weird to me that Moira is yelling her ultimates in Gaelic.
Why not?
Because it's not really used as a first language as far as I've seen. I mean, maybe it is in some parts, but...
But why not?
I mean, okay, sure. It's like celebrating the culture and all.
I mean, like, how underrepresented is Gaelic in modern media? Why not represent it?
Yeah, I get it. It just seems a bit, I don't know. Yeah, sure, why not? I mean, here's the thing. Like, can we really comment on this? Because there's a whole history between England and Ireland, and it's not good. Generally, it's the English being bad people, right?
Hey, that is basically our relationship with the entire world. We just went out there and we were shitty with people.
I'm trying to think of a country that England hasn't been shitty to. Yeah, I've probably got nothing.
No. Let's talk about gameplay.
Yes, let's actually talk about Moira. Oh, in fact, do we want to talk about gameplay or aesthetics yet?
Ooh, let's do aesthetics.
Okay, because I was super unconvinced with Moira's aesthetic when I saw it in the videos and stuff that we saw last week. And having seen her in game and how it plays out, she looks awesome.
Yeah,
I take it all back. Her poise is amazing. The whole thing with the big sleeves and the kind of like weird bifurcated coat thing. Ooh,
I was sold from the instant that I saw her. I loved her aesthetic. The really androgynous, tall, slender, and it's just so cool. But it appeals to me because that's a very fashion aesthetic.
Oh yes, of course.
It is so what I'm into in terms of like as a look. I think it looks really cool, and I love the kind of slight mirror of David Bowie. I don't know. I mean,
it's not just a slight mirror in the kind of glam rock skin. And is it the nighttime skin, or what's it called? Moonlight?
Moon. No, it's just Moon.
Just Moon. Okay. Yeah, it's channeling Bowie so hard.
It's so hard,
and I'm okay with that.
Oh yeah, I got a love for David Bowie.
Yep, dude made some good music.
Oh yeah.
Anything else about the aesthetic of Moira?
The only other thing I think I'd mention is that the gold for the weapons is not nearly as visible, which you may be a fan of or you may not be a fan of, depending on how much you like gold.
I mean, you can see it on the screen in front of you.
Yeah, but it's pretty...
Which is pretty weird when in her running animation, her arms are behind her, but on the screen you see them in front of her, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like complete disconnect.
But they do that all the time with these things.
Yeah, your first person like character model is very different, obviously, but...
Well, it has to match up with what you're experiencing at the time.
Yeah. And to be fair, think of it like this. Like, if Soldier actually held his rifle in a way that you could see it on screen, just think... I mean, hold your arms up in front of you and think how high up you'd have to be holding that damn rifle.
I think the best one is usually when people talk about bows and you think about how, like, you'd basically have your hand by your nose.
Oh, God. Yeah, that would actually be awful, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's a dreadful way to hold a bow.
You wouldn't be able to see shit.
No.
Okay,
That's so bad. But yeah, otherwise, aesthetically, I think they've done a great job. Obviously, she has some... aesthetics which are linked to Zenyatta, but also to Reaper.
Yes, because she's basically Reaper's mum, right? I mean, she's not Reaper's mum, but she has a load of similar abilities, and that ties into because she did a load of stuff on Reaper.
So yeah, in terms of her backstory, she had ties into stuff that Mercy did. She did some engineering on Genji, and it sounds like she's done some stuff to McCree as well. Oh,
have you seen the combo sprays that she gets with Mercy?
Yes, where
very cool.
Angel Devil thing. Very nice.
Like that a lot.
I'm hoping at some stage we do get like a devil's... You know how Mercy has the Angel Halo as part of her suit?
Yes.
Hopefully she gets the devil version.
Well, Mercy also has a devil outfit.
So she should get an angel
I'm hoping
outfit.
that Moira gets both.
Yes, agreed.
Because, I mean... Like, a big part of Moira is she's not cut and dry, just evil. She is, both.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The other thing that's noteworthy is that she made changes to Doomfist as well to make him more in tune with the Doomfist.
Oh,
those body mods that he's got where he's got all those weird lines?
Yeah.
She did that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so a lot of, like, lore kind of interacting with people and, like, she's clearly done a lot there.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about abilities, shall we?
Yes. I think we talked about like how she has the primary fire of healing and the secondary fire of like
Yeah, we kind of went through them. But like now that we've actually seen them in game in the PTR, it's a bit different, right? Like her right click zap isn't like a Symmetra like length lock on. Like the range on it is pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's got a long range, but it's got a really low damage rate. Like it's lower than Winston's damage rate, and it doesn't have the cleave effect of hitting more than one person at once.
And it's also lower than just her punching people repeatedly.
Yes.
Which is a thing, right?
Yes. But on the other hand...
She does get some heal.
Yeah, she gets some heal, and it recharges her heal ability.
Yes.
So, there is definitely a balance there. Like, you don't want to go around punching people because you need to get your heal back in order to heal people.
Yeah, exactly. So, one thing that people have been talking about is this going to be return of like a deathbally tank meta?
Oh, because she works so well, like, in close combat.
Yeah, exactly. Like, her heal goes through people and can heal multiple people. So let's just like think about something like if you're running 3 or maybe even 4 tanks and you bowl through a choke and you're right behind all your tanks, you whack on your like heal gloop hand, you whack out your orb of healing, and you're just going to smash through that choke.
It'll be really interesting to see. I think one of the things I would mention is that she's got a very unique playstyle. She does not feel like any of the other healers.
I'm going to throw out that I don't think we even really know what her playstyle is yet, because...
I'm just talking about like her feel, because I have played a lot of the healers recently. I've been playing a lot of Zen, I played a lot of Anna for a long time.
That's because you're a flex grey, and that means you end up healing.
Yes, true. But I have been playing a lot of them, and she feels very different. Like, her role is super active. You're always waiting for cooldowns, and there's always something for you to do. And the decision-making between whether doing damage or whether healing is super key.
Yeah, I think this is something that they're definitely paying attention to with their healers a lot. Like, you saw it in Anna, and we're seeing it in this one, that their design priorities with healers are you must be doing shit all the time.
Yes. Being active, it seems, is very important to them. And I think that's so key in getting people to play healer again.
Yeah, you've got to make that shit engaging. You've got to make people feel like, as a healer, they are affecting the game directly. I mean, this is why both healers and tanks are less played than DPS. Because with DPS, there is the illusion that, well, I mean, it's not even an illusion, but like, if you click all the heads, you will win the game, and it's all in your control. When you go a healer or a tank, to some extent, that control is taken away from you because you're facilitating other players. And if those other players don't perform, then your good play doesn't get rewarded effectively.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, synergy, though I do think that, like, the synergy for DPS is underrated as a style of play, and it holds a lot of people back.
How do you mean?
Like, I think that a lot of people who don't understand how to synergize with their team and play with their team will lose out as DPS.
Yes. And in fact, kind of jumping to almost near another topic here is, I'm going to throw out there, I think that was Sinatra's problem on Team USA.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like he got, what was South Korea's scout?
Saviolbi?
Scout. Yeah, SPB. So Sinatra got dunked. Like, if you look at the stats, Sinatra got absolutely trashed. And have you been listening to what Sinatra's been saying about it?
Oh, yeah, he said it's because Saviolbi always had the healer on him.
Yeah, and like, it's just, essentially, Sinatra was going out there trying to DM, and SBB was going out there to play Overwatch.
Yes. Well,
that's what I took away from it.
As much as I think that is partly the difference between South Korea and a lot of other teams. South Korea really have worked on their teamwork. You know what? We are not going to go into this because this is a whole section by itself later.
Yeah. Oh, I'm looking forward to that section. Okay. Do we have more to say about Moira immediately?
I really look forward to getting her in game. I think that she's going to be very engaging, and she is going to affect the meta a lot if they've got the balance right, or horribly, horribly wrong.
As a tank player, I'm really happy about Moira because it looks like Deathball is getting a boost from this.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, excellent. Okay, so what else? The Anna and Mercy changes that we talked about before are in?
Yep. Worth trying out. Not much to say that's changed from last time.
Wait, were they still in? They were in last week, weren't they?
They were, but I think they made a couple of tweaks to a couple of minor things, but yeah.
Okay, well, whatever. And there's a load of other things that have changed, but it's all kind of minor things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, next. One of the things that came out of BlizzCon was... wait, are we talking about Blizzard World? No, we talked about Blizzard World, didn't we?
We did talk about Blizzard World,
yeah,
but
we haven't
this
seen it. Yes, no, there's the cosmetics.
Yes.
So basically, next year, there are going to be a load of, in the basic crate system, a load more cosmetics for all characters.
And they look fantastic. So I think the thing that's why this is tied into Blizzard World is because all of these skins are nods, well, not even nods, they're taken from other Blizzard games. They're kind of, what's the word that I'm looking for? Homages. Homage.
Ooh, so chic.
So I think we should start off with Orisa.
Yes, she gets an Immortal skin. Immortals from StarCraft 2.
Yes. Torbjorn gets a good classic World of Warcraft. He actually gets the Magni Bronzebeard skin from World of Warcraft.
Which also means there is an Overwatch Hearthstone crossover.
Oh, yeah, because
you can play
obviously...
Magni in both.
Yes.
Yep. Widowmaker gets a... It's a character from StarCraft 2. I haven't followed from that game.
It's Nova from StarCraft 2.
She's a... what are they called? Not scouts. They're called...
Sniper?
Nope. Ghosts. That's what they're called in StarCraft 2.
Okay. Not really familiar with them. Never played any StarCraft 2.
I've never played it, but I watch the esports of it because it works really well.
Oh, yeah, I've heard.
Doomfist has another WoW thing. I presume that's Rend Blackhand.
That is Rend Blackhand.
Okay. He doesn't necessarily look like an orc, but sure.
No, but the rest of the aesthetic is correct.
Yep. Again, they've come up with what I would say is a fucking awesome Zarya skin. Okay, here's what they seem to do with Zarya skins. I think Zarya, they just completely knock it out of the park repeatedly. And then loads of other people are like, oh my God, I hate Zarya skins. The worst thing ever. But she gets like a classic Diablo barbarian. And it's fucking hilarious.
It's so good. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do because I really like the 80s Zarya skin, but this also looks badass.
It's just so funny. The one I'm super excited about is the Butcher from Diablo thing for Roadhog.
Ooh, yes.
Because it just looks mean. Absolutely mean. Oh, God. And it's so suitable for Roadhog.
It so is. And, of course, from the new short with Reinhardt, we get young Reinhardt. And his hair is amazing.
It's pretty bling.
Yes.
It's going to be a tough one, whether I'm going to go for young Reinhardt or Griefheart. Tough calls. The new May skin from her short, which was obviously on the cards, that's going to be coming too. Sure.
A lot of people wanted it. I don't think it's that great a skin, but sure.
Yeah, the cream dispenser going into her ice gun, yeah. I mean, here's one thing that's I think is nice about it. I think it's nice to have a alternate skin that isn't super themed.
That's true.
Like, it's just a different basic May design, which actually is quite refreshing.
Yep, that's fair.
Like, it doesn't particularly speak to me, but I think there's a place for that stuff. And yeah, there's going to be a ton more like emotes and highlight intros and all of that stuff.
Yes, presumably including that Winston highlight intro we saw that we talked about last week.
I would almost put money on it.
Yeah.
I'd say that's very, very likely.
Yes. Let's talk some dev panels.
Okay, yeah, I mean, this is another aesthetics thing. This is over the course of BlizzCon. There was a ton of stuff they've now talked about releasing images from the creation of Overwatch and Titan.
Yes, and there's some really cool stuff in here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure there's that much we can add to it by talking about this stuff, aside from you should see the things.
I definitely think you should see the things. I also think that it's very likely that there's stuff in here that we are going to see in the future. That will translate, because if you look at Reaper and you look at what was called Angelica and is now Mercy, you look at Symmetra, you look at what was Hanzo is now clearly Genji's design, Winston, like all these concepts were super fleshed out, and I just think that loads of these other ones look really cool, and I imagine we're going to see some of them in game. Oh, you can even see Roadhog poking in one of them.
There's so much that's actually gone into these. Such as, if you look at the Juggernaut's gun, that is Zarya's gun.
Yes.
If you look at the Assassin, that's Genji's sword.
Yes.
And if you look at, like, the long shot sniper, it has a grappling hook in there and a recon visor. It's like, this is very clearly, inspirations of what happened. I personally find it fascinating to see, like, what's carried over. What's interesting, though, is the stuff that hasn't ever worked, like stuff like Jetpack Cat.
Well, I don't know if that didn't work, or whether that's just like they shelved that idea to work on ideas that seemed more core to the game. Yeah,
I mean, it's a pretty crazy concept, right? But I mean, I guess we have a moon monkey.
I was going to say, we have a moon monkey.
So yeah. In fact, the claw trap that is at the bottom of the images from Titan, you can actually see that working in the development of Overwatch video from the panel they did. And I can see why it didn't make it into game. Okay. It's basically like you fire this little trap at a wall and it anchors people who go past it. And combined with Torbjorn's turret, that is obviously horrendous.
Yes.
Because you try to run past the turret and you just get grabbed. And like combining with Symmetra's lasers, just no. Just no.
Absolutely. But I just think that like we're going to see some of these heroes in the future. Just absolutely.
Probably, yes. Although, see, here's the thing. I think a lot of what's going into the character design now, like with Moira, is... So, I mean, very much with Moira's design, they were like, people are really like asking for a healer. Okay, let's do a healer. And I think the last couple of things we've seen have been coming from a kind of mechanics direction. And I'd say that even with Doomfist, like they were like, okay, people really want Doomfist. The guy has to punch stuff. So where do we go with that? You know?
Yeah, it's fair. I don't know. I think that they must have so much in the bank of like hero concepts that didn't work when we first tried them, but could work. Here's a whole bunch of aesthetics. Because I imagine that like a lot of heroes were sketched out, like hundreds of heroes, just like really basic design concepts. And like you'll see stuff that just works well together, and they'll slot them together. We'll see them in game.
Yeah. I mean, so another thing from this panel about all the possible heroes they had is like looking at what their like abilities were. Like Torbjorn on here is described as ironclad, and one of his abilities is bowling ball. So presumably it rolls along the floor and it hits people, and yeah. Can you see this?
Is that it rolling along the floor, or is that him rolling along the floor?
Oh God, I didn't even think of that. But then you've got like McLeod, which is a clear Highlander ripoff, and one of his abilities is only one. What does that even mean? Is it like you and the enemy kind of teleport into a one-on-one dueling space or something? And fuck knows.
You're asking me. I have no idea.
Yeah. Crazy. But yeah. There's a lot of design stuff from Titan, which has followed over. And the panel that they did basically shows footage of them playtesting Overwatch from when the game was a twinkle in Papa Jeff's eye, essentially.
Yes. And it's so worth a watch. Like,
yeah.
There's not much that we can add to it. But if you're at all interested in that sort of thing, where you like seeing, you know, what happened under the hood, what it looked like beforehand, how it developed, any of that sort of stuff, watch this vid. It is great. A lot of fun. And
there's a lot of kind of funny stuff in there, you know, like seeing character animations being reused on different characters, like a load of placeholder stuff. If you're into any kind of game design, this is right up your street. Do it.
Absolutely. Cool.
Awesome. Next, the Overwatch World Cup.
Yes. Now, obviously, spoiler alert, we're going to talk about who won, and we're going to talk about some of the stuff that happened.
I think everyone knows by now, right?
I'd imagine so.
I imagine if anyone cares, it'd be like hard to avoid that news, right?
I managed to avoid it for like 3 days because I couldn't watch it. So I think that if you didn't want to and you were putting it off for the weekend, like you could still not know. Maybe.
Okay, sure. So yeah, turn off now, and I don't know when you're going to come back in. Go
Soon.
watch it. Go watch the finals and then come back to us.
Yes. I think really, if you haven't watched any of it, watch South Korea versus USA. I feel like it was the best match. It was really, really
intense.
good.
Yeah.
It was super intense.
And in fact, that's the one that everyone seems to be talking about.
Yes.
Like massively so.
I think it's just because it was so exciting and so much fun. There was so much support for the USA going into this because obviously they're the underdogs and they did really well. Like last year, South Korea were just super. Like
last year was a raffle stomp. This year, it could have gone either way. Honestly,
there were stages where USA were definitely on top, and what South Korea were doing was not working.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to start off by talking about the actual viewing experience.
Production and stuff. Yeah. It was all right,
absolutely.
Wasn't it?
It is so much better.
Yeah.
It is definitely a lot easier to follow the action compared to previous viewing experiences. And a lot of it, I struggled to kind of really nail down what is better about this. Is it just that they've gotten better at identifying who to watch? Is it just that they've gotten, more tools? But I think obviously a combination of the both and various other things. It was just so much more fun to watch, and I really think that they are onto something with Overwatch League now.
Yeah.
Like, I had this kind of worry that maybe it just wouldn't be super exciting to watch, but this had me riveted.
Yeah, agreed. So here's the thing, though, that I realised that I am not the target audience for the Overwatch League stuff.
No.
Now, that's quite a weird thing, isn't it? Considering I played, a lot of competitive Overwatch. But the factor is, what they're trying to do is make something that's, accessible to the casual viewer. And what I desperately want is to be able to have an in-game viewing system where I can change, where I can have the commentary going on. But like Dota 2, I can choose who to watch. and I can craft my own viewing experience because I want to watch the tanks because I'm a tank player.
Absolutely.
The tanks is what really interests me, and you very rarely get the point of view of a tank.
Yeah. No, I totally agree, and I really hope that's something that's going to come in the future. Given how much they've listened to what people want, I think that's got to be on the cards, like as something that they want to do, because it is so successful with Dota 2, and it is such a good viewing experience for people who are, who are more interested in following specific people and who are, have specific roles that they want to watch, because it's just so cool to watch. It really is. I don't know. I think the other thing that's worth talking about is just talking about the difference between South Korea and all the other teams.
Going back to what we were talking about earlier, where South Korea just had this kind of...
So what I noticed, what really stood out to me, was their ability to read a situation and to be ridiculously patient with abilities and ultimates. The amount of times that it looked like they were going to lose the point and they were going to get rolled and they'd lost and they should just fall back. And
are you going to talk about when they were attacking third on Eichenwald with the Zen ult?
That is one of them. I was actually thinking of Watchpoint Gibraltar when they held the second point literally like centimeters before it hit that cap, and they were all outside and they just collapsed on USA and held that point. And I was looking at it going, there's no way that you get there in time. There's no way all you're going to do is burn ult and lose the point, because they are in such a dominant position. And they were just patient, and they waited the very last minute, and they came in and used one ultimate and then the next ultimate and just like completely wiped Team USA when I was so not expecting it. And they did that over and over again. They did that on Hanamura, they did that on Watchpoint Gibraltar, they did it on Eichenwald, and it just really showed how patient and together they were.
Yeah, like their discipline when stalling out like a final capture point is crazy. Like, I mean, at the level that we play at, people just dive onto the point and try and get whatever time off they can, try and get whatever frags they can. But South Korea, they were so surgical with, if they're defending a point, they kind of keep people back a little bit, and they have people go in one by one until they can make a bigger push with bigger numbers. It's kind of nuts.
It is absolutely crazy. I don't even know how they communicate that effectively in the middle of a team fight. Like,
yeah.
The communication.
I assume a lot of it is like they don't communicate it. Like they're just used to playing like this. They've discussed it, and they just read what the other people are doing and know, oh, this person's doing that. Okay, I'll chill for a sec.
Absolutely. It was just such a pleasure to watch people who are just so in tune with each other and really, really played as a team. Which, because I do think mechanically there are a lot of players who are on par with Korean players.
Yeah.
But as a team, they're just something else.
I wonder if there's like a cultural attitude in this. Like, you see it with... again, comparing them to like the American team, which is much more like they play with a lot more sense of self.
Yes.
Whereas Korea seem to play with a real sense of team.
Absolutely.
Like crazily so.
Like, and there's these times where you clearly see USA players trying to carry.
Yeah.
And you just didn't see that from, well, to be fair, you see Flower kind of carrying in some situations because his Widow was crazy. But
even then, he was doing it very much as part of the team. Like, he wasn't overextending at all. He was very much playing in the core of his team.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, you should watch it. If you think that's going to enjoy you at all, if you think that's going to interest you in any way, shape or form, go back, watch the USA versus South Korea match, see if that sparks your interest for competitive Overwatch, because...
And if that leaves you wanting more, Sweden versus France, also a really good match. Real nail-biter.
Yep.
Great stuff.
Cool. Okay, moving on. Oh, serious section. Okay, There's two things in here which are unpleasant, but they're worth kind of like mentioning. I feel we wouldn't be doing our jobs if we didn't say they'd happen. The manager of San Francisco Shock has been fired over sexual assault allegations. You can read about it. It's pretty grim. something that some people have said is that they're just allegations. Why should a guy get fired for this? Well, think about it like this. If it was an unfair dismissal, he could sue San Francisco Shock. He's not doing so. So, yeah, icky. The next one, which is really sad because, in fact, just a few days ago, I saw this thread about where's INTERNETHULK gone, and I was like, yeah, where is INTERNETHULK gone? He was a really good tank, and he has sadly passed away. We don't know more details about that, and it's not something I particularly want to go digging for. His family have asked to be, left alone a bit. So yeah.
If you're not familiar with INTERNETHULK, INTERNETHULK put together one of the most oppressive teams in early Overwatch, in early competitive Overwatch. He put together Envious. He discovered a lot of talent and gave a lot of people help finding their place in Overwatch, including people like Harry Hook, Crypt Sargent, and Coco, who are all like top tier players, and I think they're all in Overwatch League now. So he's had a real impact on a lot of people's lives, and he seems like a really nice guy, and it's just so sad.
Yeah, he played a badass Ryan.
He did.
Well, yeah, so that's really sad. Moving on.
Yes.
Okay, next. Jeff Kaplan on Reyes and Morrison's relationship. Great.
Now, this was really interesting to me because it's a piece of law that is, we are clearly still exploring the very first days of Overwatch getting back together. And I think we're probably still going to be exploring this for another few months now before we actually start moving the storyline on. And this, I assume that's what's going to happen is we're going to go kind of forwards and backwards in timelines to see how stuff in the past affects stuff kind of happening in the future / now.
Yeah.
And Jeff talks about the history between Reyes and Morrison, because exactly what happened between them has not really been made that clear to us so far. Just that at some point Reyes kind of goes a bit AWOL with the whole Blackwatch thing, and that causes a rift, and so they kind of start fighting, and then everything blows up. And what he talks about is how actually Reyes and Morrison were best friends. They were old school war buddies who had a lot of respect for each other, and how Morrison was promoted above Reyes to be the leader of Overwatch. And most people think that that's going to cause a rift between them. That's what starts them kind of drifting apart. But actually, Reyes really liked that. Reyes actually has a lot of respect for Morrison and, preferred being second fiddle where fewer people were watching him, because he was that classic maverick renegade who wanted to get loads of, get stuff done and didn't care whether it was by the book or not. It was, it was about the results. And actually how their relationship, that didn't have a negative effect on their relationship. And what actually gets Captain Morrison in the end, which is Soldier 76, is how much he defended Reyes for such a long time. And that was a big part of Captain Morrison's downfall. So I just found it interesting, this little tidbit of camaraderie that they had, that they were just so close that to the end, Soldier 76 was defending Reyes, that's what actually caused Overwatch to really topple over.
There's 100% going to be a big pivotal plot point about what is it that pushed Morrison over the edge.
Yes.
There'll be something, and that'll probably be to do with the founding of Talon and such, but...
Yeah. Yeah, I just thought it was really interesting with the lore. It comes from a small set of interviews and Q&A panels and stuff that have been done, and someone asked a question, and Jeff Kaplan points them to this. So I thought it was interesting and worth mentioning because a lot of people will miss it.
Yep. And lastly, there is a ton of other stuff which we're now going to blast through kind of quickly.
Yes.
Free Overwatch from November the 17th to 20th. It's a weekend. If you have friends who don't play Overwatch but have been thinking about giving it a look, you should get them onto it then.
Yeah, it is on PC, PS4, and Xbox, so they have no excuse.
Yep. There is a ton of interviews that you can find on the internet right now, if that is your shtick, due to BlizzCon and loads of people getting access to them. Basically, every major YouTube publication has an interview or something because they were there and they grabbed them. What else we got? We got an interview with Mike Morhaime, the Blizzard president. Talks a lot about loot boxes and how... so there's a big thing in the press right now about loot boxes, and it basically being gambling to some extent. And there was a load of stuff about some mobile game, which there's like a load of pre-purchase of in-game microtransactions currency, and that's really, really weird. But yeah, he's basically saying, because you can't trade Blizzard cosmetics, because you can't sell them, or there's no, like, once they're just on your account and that's it, it's a very different kettle of fish with Overwatch, which I kind of agree with.
But you'll notice he only talks about Overwatch loot boxes and does not mention Hearthstone.
Yes. That's
or Heroes of the Storm.
Oh, Hearthstone. Ugh.
Yeah.
We'll do a Hearthstone podcast at some time and talk about that. my love-hate relationship with that game.
So good and yet so bad.
Yeah, there's Reddit interviews with Jeff Kaplan and Bill Winnecke. Is there anything from that you want to talk about, Gray?
There was one minor thing that I wanted to mention, which is how much they've got so basically they get asked a question about a single-player PvE experience in Overwatch. And what Jeff says is, we've got people who've got some real PvE experience on this team, and we love the ideas, but there is so much development that has to go into these things, but it's something we really want to do. So it's not really an answer, it's just more of a, this is clearly something they're interested in, and I think that if they ever get the chance to do it, they would jump on it. Yeah,
some ways down the line, it might be a thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. Staying with Reddit, Overwatch subreddit hits 1 million subs.
Ooh. And there's a lovely little video from the Overwatch team and some of the voice actors kind of saying congratulations to Reddit. It's a lot of people.
1 million people. It's interesting. That's what, did we decide it was 35 million people playing the game?
Yep.
So that's a 35th of people playing Overwatch, assuming there's a complete, Venn diagram relationship.
Yes.
That's a 35th. That's not bad.
It's really not bad.
Yeah. Okay. There is also D.Va gaming peripherals from Razer. They look pretty sweet.
They do look pretty sweet. I do find their choice of mouse odd, because they didn't go for the Death Adder, they went for the Goliathus. And I tend to think of the Death Adder as being the FPS mouse that they produce.
Oh, huh.
Yeah, but they went for the Goliathus. Also a really good mouse, but I would have thought they would either
wait,
go
an
for...
FPS mouse? So you're saying this one isn't the FPS mouse?
No, the FPS mouse is the Death Adder. Definitely.
Well, great, that makes perfect sense.
Well, it's not an RTS mouse either.
Oh.
Yes.
Because, here's what occurs to me. D.Va's a StarCraft 2 player. So if she was going to have, branded stuff, it wouldn't be for Overwatch, because Overwatch does exist in D.Va's universe, but... Oh, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I know what you mean, but it's not particularly an RTS mouse either. Yeah. But anyway, if you like D.Va branded stuff, you got some D.Va branded stuff. I think it looks cool.
And finally... Seoul Dynasty was sent a letter by the Seoul mayor showing his support and congratulating them on their win.
Yeah, which...
is it their win? Well, it's basically the Korean Overwatch team, right?
Yeah, it was Lunatic High rather than Seoul Dynasty, but they couldn't keep their old Lunatic High brand. When they purchased into Overwatch League, you had to create an entirely new brand, which became Seoul Dynasty, so it was given to Seoul Dynasty, owned by... You know how... You see how...
Wait, but this isn't the win. This is basically just saying, Seoul Dynasty, yeah, the city's behind you.
Yes.
Because the actual South Korean Overwatch team, they're spread out over a number of teams, right? In the actual Overwatch League.
Yes, there are a lot of people. There are a lot of South Korean players in a lot of different Overwatch League teams. But there was a win that happened for Lunatic High, and this is kind of part congratulations to that, and part with throwing our support behind Seoul Dynasty. Much in the same way that mayors of American towns will support their football leagues and their not their football leagues, their football teams and their basketball teams and their NBA teams. They'll write letters of support and kind of, all that sort of stuff saying, congratulations on winning this big thing. Seoul Mayor has done exactly that for Seoul Dynasty. And it's just one of those things, it mirrors real sports, as it were. It mirrors sports, traditional sports, shall I say. And I thought it was worth mentioning because this is the kind of thing I'm hoping we're going to get used to.
Yeah, I think do you reckon London Spitfire is going to get something from Sadiq Khan?
They actually have.
What, already?
Yes, they actually already have.
Oh, wow.
I actually completely forgot about that. But yeah, no, Sadiq Khan has written a letter to the London Spitfire saying, no, it wasn't Sadiq Khan. It wasn't Sadiq Khan. It was someone who was invested in this area. I can't remember their name, but I don't think it was Sadiq Khan. But they did get a letter saying, London shall support you.
That's kind of awesome.
Yeah.
Huh. And on that kind of awesome note, I think that's kind of us for this week.
I think it is.
Oh, bloody good show.
Rather. Well done. Good job.
See you next week. Toodle pip. Bye-bye.